Every Tribe Has Its Elders by Bruce de Graaf. Dunbogan 2443. Narrated by Lex Marinos. I come from a long time ago, a time when our possessions were fewer and our life seemed to be simpler. Bindi eyes were a hideous thing. Drinking from a hose quenched a thirst. There were no fat people and there were no technological distractions. There were only 3 regular TV channels. Well, there were actually 4, but Channel 2 didn't count because the ABC was for old people. We were told to play outside and to only come in when the street lights came on. This is the epoch in which I found skateboarding. Skateboarding is a pursuit which has its roots in the sport of surfing. Surfing relies on tides, swell, and wind direction. Without these things, a beach quickly becomes a lagoon. During a time when the swells were absent, someone grabbed a pair of key-adjustable roller skates, separated both halves, affixed them to a piece of timber, and voila, the skateboard was born. I was 8 years old, and I'd been given a skateboard for Christmas 1969. The Warwick Bullet was the magic carpet that allowed me to take to the streets and discover the art of street surfing. Skateboarding is such an inclusive activity, and even in my early days, there were always others willing to give me tips to ride my skateboard better. In my mind, this flashback was the rise of the mentor in my world. Diversity exists in spades in the skateboarding world. Skateboarding developed quickly beyond a fad with the advent of urethane wheels in the early 1970s. Out of this grew a real culture which was to be found in every suburb of Australia. During this evolution, the diversity of riding a piece of wood with wheels affixed showed more and more the way that skateboarders are an inclusive group with solid foundations in mentoring the young and inexperienced. What is diversity, though? Diversity is the inclusion in all people, of all people, by all people. Wikipedia shows the state of being diverse, variety. There was considerable diversity in the style of the reports. The practice or quality of including or involving people from a range of different social and ethnic backgrounds and of different genders, sexual orientations, etc. Equality and diversity should be supported for their own sake. Over the next 50 years, things changed a lot, but the more they changed, the more they remained the same. The best-known skateboarder is Tony Hawk, who along with the Bones Brigade and the Tony Alva crew pushed each other to the point that the skateboard was no longer just a street device, but it was being used in emptied swimming pools, ramps were being built, and these guys were getting air. Big air. I missed this period. I'm 7 years older than Tony, and while he was skating, we were on our P-plates and driving to the beach. The skateboard was always in the car in the event that there was no swell, and then we surfed the playground of the Forest High School. The skateboarding zenith bypassed us. Life, however, became less simple, and working for a living became a thing. Work was demanding. Then the opportunity to procure a house almost bypassed me. Unable to afford Sydney, I bought a home in Kempsey, New South Wales, paying 19.25% interest, the United Permanent Building Society. Fast forward, and I'm married. I sold the country property for a fixer-upper in Sydney's North Shore, and the wife and I were blessed with a baby girl. Early in the morning, I'd take our firstborn out to give Mama a break. Brittany in the pram, Papa on the skateboard. This was the old DHD Saurus board my cousin Mark had, but it got us around. Another daughter came along to close off the family numbers, and as the girls got older, skateboards entered the family again. We were, the 3 of us, happy to skateboard together. Mama, not so keen, though. One of the daughters once said, referring to skateboarding, "Dad, "We are so lucky that you love to do the things that we love to do." I'd been thinking exactly the same thing. We went on little expeditions with groups of people on skateboarding jaunts, finding new spots, car parks, and the community feel was real. The whole time we were teaching and we were learning. There were young, older girls from every walk of life, girls from uni, and even some mamas. The girls' group, which numbered around 20, called themselves the Maidens of Stees. We would go to Pumpy, a place in Lyndon in the Blue Mountains where there was a lovely bitumen closed road to a pumping station. The Master of the Hill event, Moth, downhill race is held there. At age 50-something, I was involved with a group with no leader. Sydney City Bomb Squad was a thing that just happened every Thursday evening, where anyone and everyone would meet at Railway Square and we'd bomb hills, car parks and landmarks in the CBD of Sydney. I was the eldest in the group by up to 30 years at times. I remarked to some of these young guys who had fathers my age, "Why don't you bring your dads along?" "Nah, they can't skateboard," was generally the reply. There was a real camaraderie among the group, and they came from all over Sydney. On school holidays, the numbers swelled, but always the elders kept an eye on the young uns. The SCBS would go to a car park. Up we'd all go in the lift and ride downhill to ludicrous speed, the car park ramps to the bottom. Living in the St Leonards area afforded me the opportunity to catch a train to the city to do business. In a business suit, the easiest way to get to and from the station was the skateboard. Mid-50s, in a business suit, skateboard in hand, and I entered a lift, then another person entered, pressed the destination button, sized me up and said, "Aren't you a bit old to be doing that?" He was a good 20 years younger than me. I looked him right in the eyes, paused, then finally said, "Every tribe has its elders." He looked at me, smiled, and said, "Good answer." The end.